So if you want to know why Netflix loses so much money and why they're hurting so bad right now, look no further than Resident Evil, an awful show. I could only finish 2 episodes of this, and the only reason I watched them is because I wanted to see if it was as bad as people were making the show out to be. And they weren't kidding. It's awful. Some of the worst cringe I've ever seen in a Netflix show. Netflix continuously buys properties that people love, mostly in anime lately, but they'll buy these properties with a built-in audience, and they bring them to life, and they're garbage every time they do it. Every time they do it, this happens. 55% critics, 27% audience score. This reminds me a lot of Cowboy Bebop. Remember Netflix Cowboy Bebop? This one actually fared a little bit better on the audience score, but it still wasn't that well received. Canceled. Don't worry, though. They've got more where this came from. That One Piece Netflix show looks to be just as awful as this one was. Anime just doesn't come to life very well. Even if they had tried and they'd made this good and made a one-to-one adaptation of the anime, I still don't think it would have been that good. It's just some things they don't need to have live-action versions made. We already have the anime. I'm just not a fan of it. Not a fan of live-action anime. I think it's good in the medium that it was designed for. But anyway, well, actually, it was originally a comic, manga, and then it becomes an anime, but that's where it should just stay. But Netflix, they're going to keep going. They're going to bring One Piece to the small screen, and I'm sure that's going to be a big pile of shit, too. So Resident Evil is canceled. Gone. See ya. You're out of there. Who could have seen this coming? Not shocked at all. I'm surprised it took them as long as it did for them to cancel it, because if you remember, Cowboy Bebop got canceled like after 2 weeks. Pretty sure it was like canceled right away. Like, yeah, this is done. Don't worry, we're not going to do this again. This one, they waited like 2 months to really talk about it, which makes me think they were pondering bringing this back for a second season, which would have been a disaster. Would have been awful. But I got a couple things to go over. One, including this article, which was published 4 days before the show got canceled, from Giant Freaking Robot. Resident Evil Season 2 getting canceled, and it did get canceled. But what was funny about this Giant Freaking Robot article is they admit the show is garbage, but then blame racism for the reason it gets canceled. I'm not kidding. So they talked about their Rotten Tomatoes score, right? And then they talk about Lance Reddick, who, before I get into it, is a great actor. The guy's got one of the best voices ever. He played Albert Wesker in the show, okay? He looks nothing like Albert Wesker, and there was no story reason to why he looked like Albert Wesker, other than he was always Albert Wesker. This is not the same universe as the video games. Okay, fair enough, but they still made some changes that people didn't like, and then if you didn't like that, of course, you got attacked. So they're saying that because of that, that's the reason it got low scores, even though critics gave it a bad score. The audience score is pure racism, though. It's a joke. It's a joke. They say that was a contributing factor to the negative feedback, and it was flat-out racism or unconscious bias. Basically saying, oh, even if you did it and you weren't doing it for that reason, you still did it for that reason. It's so stupid. So right after that, they say, however, as hard as it tries, the show is just not very good. Okay, so maybe they gave it a bad review because the show's just not very good, like you admit. But only the critics did that, not the audience scores. The critics, they actually gave an honest review. The audience scores, that was racism. These shills, man, it blows me away how hard and how hard they'll go for companies and how many hoops they'll jump through for them. So this article calls it a shame that the show is getting canceled, admits it's an awful show, but says it should go on basically because it has a diverse cast. That's not a reason for a show to go on. If the show is shit, it should get canceled. It's just, these people are just dumb. This is why all of these outlets are dying, because they're all run by dumb people. And that, of course, I'm talking about entertainment media, even in media in general, like Vox, like all of these are run by clowns. And if they didn't get large donations, they would have been canceled a long time ago. So the show's canceled. It's done. Here are the details. Netflix has opted not to order a second season of Resident Evil, its action horror series loosely based on the popular video game franchise. This news comes a month and a half after the series' July 14th release. It's not entirely surprising, as the drama did not have a particularly strong showing on Netflix's top 10, and cost versus viewing is the streamer's leading renewal criterion. Running partly in the shadow of the mega genre hit Stranger Things, which was released within the same time frame, Resident Evil debuted at number 2 with an okay 72.7 million hours viewed, but it did not deliver the big week 2 bump one would like to see for a new series as word of mouth spreads. Ranking in 73.3 million hours viewed in its second week for a number 3 finish before dropping out of the top 10 only 3 weeks after it came out. So that's the big thing. They like to blame it so Stranger Things is the reason and it failed. I mean, okay, you watch Stranger Things and then you recommend Resident Evil after the person is finished. Boom, done. Like, that should get them in, but unfortunately it didn't, because Resident Evil sucked. Now, the main problem with this is another example of failing upwards. I don't know if it was in this article or another article, but Netflix has come out and said, we're very excited to work with the people from Resident Evil again. So all of these people that were involved in this show, which honestly, you deliver a failure like this, do you deserve another show? You should probably have to work your way back up. But this is a Hollywood problem. The problem in Hollywood is a lot of these people fail up. So they lose their job. They put out a bad product. They just get moved up to another show, which is probably guaranteed to be a giant pile of shit. They don't fail downwards, they fail upwards. It's a Hollywood problem. It's a huge problem, and it's one of the main reasons why a lot of our modern entertainment is trash, because of the fact that everyone fails upward. It's a fail upward kind of society in Hollywood. Netflix is no different. So everyone that has been attached to this show is moving on to more stuff, which I assure you will be trash. But that's okay. You know, we're helping with people that shouldn't be fired or something. Like they'll say, "Oh, well, that's cancel culture." It's not cancel culture. You did a bad job. You lost millions of dollars for a company. That's more of a cause and action, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get another show anyway. That happened with Batwoman from the CW. That show was shit. Awful show. What happened? The entire team got moved from the canceled Batwoman to Gotham Knights. They completely failed to a new show. It's one of the huge problems. That ESG is one of the big problems with modern entertainment. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. I do watch parties, play video games over there. They're always fun. Follow me over there and come hang out. Also, make sure you subscribe to YellowFlash, my other channel. There's a link to that in the description as well. I do a lot of live streams over there that I don't do on this channel. Usually smaller and a little bit more personal. So make sure you follow me over there and sign up.